The explodes one's kind of boring.
Okay, so here we are. Strazer's table. We've got myself, Martin, Strazer, Joe, and Alex. And today we're here to discuss the new rules of Horus Heresy. Maybe we get into trouble for discussing this, I don't know. But it has been leaked all over online. So we're simply picking up from the leak. And obviously we do have an early copy because I myself am a stockist. Whether this gets into trouble or not. Here we are. As you might have heard, there's massive issues with Horus Heresy. A lot of people are really upset. And the main thing you might misunderstand or not get a full clue idea on is why people are freaking out about parts of their army and not able to use. And that seems to be the biggest contention. So Joe here is a hardcore Horus Heresy fan. He's gone to many narrative events. I've only played a couple of games and I appreciated the last edition of Horus Heresy, so it reminded me of 2nd edition 40k of my youth. And Alex as well, he's a hardcore Horus Heresy fan, and there's also a rule law whore. So between the three of us, we're going to discuss why GW's done what they've done, what has happened. We'll also try and talk about some fucking plus points, right? I think we've gone past the mark of swearing. But yeah, we're going to pass some points here. And yeah, and why is this happening to Horus Heresy? So I think we'll talk about some positives first, shall we? Okay, so I'll let Joe take over here, and from what I understand from Joe said to me earlier is that the main rules, even though we're not tested, seem okay, right?
Yeah, like
the main rule book.
So, having not played the game yet, I haven't found that many issues in it that I think are going to destroy the game.
Right.
Terrain is definitely going to be an issue because there's too many magic boxes where it's just too abstract.
See, magic box to me, to interrupt, is 10th edition, 9th edition shit.
If there's a ruin, it's got a big thing going over it and you can only see so far through it and all the rest of it. The terrain rules are very different.
Right, and not organic almost, you say now.
No, it's a lot more kind of, you're going to have to measure everything where everything's past a building into a building. And also there's going to be issues where you can get a tactical squad sat in a corner holding an objective for the whole game and no one can hit it. Because it's got the same issue if you can't see through it.
Right.
You're going to have a tactical squad camping an objective just over 3 inches outside a bit of area terrain that can't be hit unless you foot slog to the opposite corner of the table to get to that objective.
So now we're playing 40k 9th and 10th edition, so now we're playing competitive.
Yeah.
One of my arguments is this has become very competitive.
You're going to have units on the board not doing anything other than scoring objectives.
Right, so yeah.
And one thing I noticed as well is that in previous editions, both Horus Heresy and like 7th previous.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
When a vehicle blows up, if a vehicle gets destroyed, it says on the board and is wrecked.
That's terrain.
If it blows up,
it's one thing I liked about last Horus Heresy.
It's now an optional rule. It's automatically removed first. Having it wrecked on the board is the optional choice now. There's actually a paragraph.
So you're saying now that my tank blows up and I go, whoa, no, I don't want to use that as cover now. I can just take it away, or I can use it as cover and retain it.
If it blows up, it's removed automatically. If it's wrecked, then you have the option to remove it, which is very.
I say logical. How do you have the option? It's not really. Again, like, can we just cement one thing here, right? Is Horus Heresy a competitive game?
It will be no.
Nope.
No. Well, what is it?
Well,
it
was originally intended to be a narrative game that was based on 7th edition backwards for people who didn't want to move to 8th edition, which was a completely different rule set. Because people wanted a legacy edition where they could go back and play the original rules that Warhammer had for the first 2 decades of its existence.
Right.
So it was there for all of the people who wanted to play the original experience of Warhammer. And what they've just done is, the whole point of the Heresy existing as the original rule set that it became was to have some place that you could go and play the old editions that was kind of like the ultimate edition of all Warhammer going back. It's literally based in the past.
It's funny how...
And now they've changed the edition rules.
So the funny thing about this, as people watching will understand this, the issue here, we try to start from the positive, we've already hit negative. Yes. And the negative already is terrain, because even though the main rules are good, terrain's now, to me, it's like trying to turn the game into competitive play. And this also becomes a highlighted issue when we look at other problems in these books. I think Alex is trying to find the terrain rule now.
It's vehicle...
It'll be when it's destroyed.
Okay.
So
page 221.
When a model with the vehicle type is removed as a casualty, then the model is replaced with a wreck. If the model also has the explodes X special rule and that special rule is triggered, it is not replaced with a wreck. So it does look like it is a wreck unless it's destroyed.
So if it's destroyed, it doesn't class as cover.
Okay, I see the top bit. A vehicle that is reduced. Okay, so reading that, I got one rule. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Reading the
a vehicle
rules
that
explains the
is
rules.
reduced. Well, that's the rule. Wrecked vehicles. But which means the model itself is removed from the battlefield. Some players may wish to leave the model on the battlefield to represent a wreck. So how does your wreck work in terms of line of sight then? Does it not affect the game? Are you meant to ignore it for properties of line of sight?
Well, no, because I would say what they're trying to say is like if you've got a wrecked item, you leave it there and it stays there as it is, or gets put back into place as cover. And if you otherwise you choose to remove the battlefield, so therefore it isn't there and isn't as cover, right?
If both players agree to use the wrecked vehicle special
Yeah.
rule.
Oh, so
Yeah.
hang on. So the
Yeah.
beginning of the game, you'd have to basically defend, right?
Yeah.
Like you would have to start your game and be like, "Hey, we're playing wrecked rule."
So
What's the fuck?
again, but that's the issue with terrain, because at the beginning of the game, there's basically 3 different levels of cover, right? So you now at the beginning of the game have to. It's very similar to bolt action where you go. It's all different types of cover, and you basically agree what the cover means at the beginning.
Yeah.
However, if you take their recommendations for what each bit of cover is, the medium level of cover is what like it only takes the medium, which is like defense line level,
Right.
and you can't see past it beyond 3 inches. So again, if you've got an objective that's like 4 inches away from that defense line that's right next to your deployment zone, first 3 turns you're scoring that. Stick a tactical squad on it, no one can see it and hit it.
Okay, so we're moving on from terrain.
So
So
will be a
terrain
thing.
looks like it's gone to fucking 8th, 9th, 10. It looks like almost to a competitive standard because everything has to be measured now. It's taking away narrative play. Like again, when I remember playing 2nd, 3rd, 4th or 40k, I was sticking fucking hill. And I was sticking fucking pear there and a couple of trees there. And we kind of made it fair for each other, but it wasn't really matter because it was just about playing for fun. And obviously the competitive scene has ruined that a little bit for some over the years. Right, so what other positives, other than the rules looking pretty stable, other than terrain?
Psychic powers look nifty.
Okay.
The costing points is good.
Yeah,
Because
you
you're not
can.
like just going, cool, I'll take, telekinesis?
Okay.
Like every single game where, cool, that unit can't do reactions, that unit can't do reactions, that unit can't do reactions, and just locking your opponent
Okay.
out of any sort of interaction.
So,
Which
so
is what
what's
second
the
event
highest
is
point
about.
psychic ability at the moment then?
I will tell you now.
Because I think I've seen a
I'm
quick
not
chart
ready to
before and it's like from 20
Word
to
bearers
40.
get access to one particular, like anyone who, like a Praetor can for 40 points join any malefic unit, so that's Gal Vorback,
Okay, yeah.
and gain access to what is basically the demon summoning
Yeah, this
type
what,
of like lore
yeah,
table.
this is what you're into. if you
But also means that they get access to. Well, if you have an esoterist,
Right.
you have access to the attachment that just goes, cool, have some demons.
Okay, cool. So there's an extra psychic ability or something there. Is there anything for the Thousand Suns? You know?
Yeah, so they have all the different cults.
Right.
They are, I think, free,
Okay.
but
So I've heard rumours that there's more flavour.
when
Definitely
you go
get
through,
outside
when you go
free
select
zones, as
each
you said.
one, they may be points cost. I've not seen the Thousand Suns like table for all their stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. What we found.
So basically, you take a librarian
Yeah.
and you buy for various different points values, whatever it might be. So pyromancy, telekinesis, divination, thaumaturgy, and telepathy.
Okay.
And you buy basically whatever comes with that ability.
Right. Obviously. Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Fine.
Thaumaturgy is free. It's the only one that doesn't cost anything.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
What's
like-
the
that's
highest
like the
points
one-
is like 40, is it? Something like that.
20.
Do you reckon, like, okay, so one biggest contention I absolutely hate with 9th and 10th edition is every other month there's a re-release of points. Will you think this will happen with
I
this game?
bloody hope not.
Because this is what it seems to be going with in my head. Like, so as much as psychic abilities are great, I know what the answer is here, but I'll have you guys explain it to me. So you know the psychics been changing this way. What are the downfalls of psychics now? What are the downfalls of characters? And this is one of the contentions why people are getting really pissed off. I'll not be able to use certain characters anymore in the game.
So imagine in the old days, you take a Cataphracti Terminator squad and you're like, right, I would quite like to have a librarian who's also in Cataphracti armour walking alongside them casting powers.
Of course.
Perfectly
Why
acceptable law
Yeah.
thing,
Yeah.
exists in the law, all the rest of it, right? Librarian data sheet now, you have librarian. Normal power armour, as is. However, it's got the implied insinuation that it has good armour in its top save. It's no longer stated anywhere that it actually has any other kind of armour. Same with jump packs. It's not
What
to So it's
Invuln save.
5 up.
5 up. So at worst, maybe Tartarus.
It could be implied, but it's not.
No.
It's not on it.
No.
And
Okay.
again, jump packs don't exist as a separate item of war gear anymore. It basically increases your movement to whatever a jump pack.
Yeah,
would
because
be as
otherwise,
well.
if you had a jump pack squad, you want a jump pack chapter,
And
you
gives
want a
you
jump
strike.
pack thingy,
But
yeah.
like all that war gear, because it's all now implied in the data sheet, can't be upgraded anyway. So if you want a librarian with a jump pack, you can't. It doesn't exist.
So basically, strip back the customization of all the characters is basically
Big
what's saying what's in the box, right? What you get in the box is what you get.
That is the mantra of Horus Heresy 3rd edition. If it comes in the box, you can play it. If it doesn't, you shit out of luck.
But the problem is with the previous edition, everybody's customised it from buying 4-draw bits, etc. because there was so much more customization in the game.
Yeah.
So like yourself, how many units have you lost in your Raven Guard potentially? Or
Too many.
Too many.
Too many. Characters that I specifically went and got bits for to be able to do. Solar Auxilia, I built multiple squads, bought official pieces from GW that they sell, the special weapons upgrade kit, because there were Solar Auxilia companions, which was your only access to special weapons.
Right, so this pause here, so as what we're highlighting here, it's not just characters, right? It's happening to
Across the
squads,
board, with every
units, and like one of the funniest things we've seen as well is it the Tartarus Terminators can't have power fists or chain fists for some reason. I'm not sure if that's a typo or something, but it looks absolutely stupid because it's in the box.
Someone got mandated to strip out all of the weapons that don't come on the box and forgot to stop pressing the delete button and just kept on going onto units like the Tartarus Terminators.
Okay, so like
things that come in the box.
Right, and it's happened with every army pretty much. And again, so you look at the models that you have yourself. How much money do you reckon you've wasted, or what would you say is wasted? Like you cannot play
Time
with
as
anymore?
much as anything else. Just converting up one of those squads of companions. So obviously a box of normal las rifle guys. Then you've got the special weapons upgrade kit. Right. So that's what, like 70 quid.
Okay, yeah.
So that's 70 quid, and then that's also the effort of converting all the arms to hold them, because they weren't designed to go together as the arms. They do fit, but it took a lot of fucking effort.
Yeah.
And again, it was completely in the book that got released a year and a half ago. Full plastic kit, all the rest of it, all exists in the game.
Yeah.
It's not like I went somewhere and was like, oh, it's written in the book, but they literally don't sell it. They literally sell every single bit.
Yeah.
The whole unit is
parts.
fully official.
No 3D printing parts.
No 3D printing, but it's gone. However, the biggest slap in the face is this, right? So again, the whole history of the game has been able to kit bash and customize units. So, like what I did last edition, I got a las rifle squad, bought the special weapons upgrades through, all legit from GW, and then I converted, customized, been part of the game for a long time, that unit that was printed in their book. This edition is expressly stated across every single Libra and every single rule come out. It's effectively what comes in the box is what you get, with very, 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 like, it might be the odd pistol that doesn't come in the box that you might be able to convert, right?
Okay.
However, if you refer to the Hyperios missile tank, so this is a tank that GW doesn't sell, right? What it says is a Hyperios missile tank can be represented by combining the hull of the Scorpius missile tank and a Hyperios missile launcher from the Tarantula missile battery. So in that statement they said, you can buy these two boxes that we sell, combine it to make this unit that wouldn't otherwise exist in a box. So why the hell have you done it to every single other unit that could exist by bits that you sell? What's the difference? It's just arbitrary. Because it's not a rules balancing issue, because it existed in second. If you've made a rule set that can't handle a squad of 10
it's not rule balancing anyway. Like, from what I understand with the last edition of Horus Heresy is, like, again, out of the two of you, right, have you been to a competitive game of Horus Heresy? Have you been to a competitive league? No. So
I barely know of them existing.
Right. Okay. So you've gone to massive narrative events, right? It was like 12 players on one side, 12 others. It's massive, like a games master.
The only competitive event I've ever seen of Heresy was last edition when they did the tournament at Warhammer World for the release. Where a couple of people brought the
I think
Dreadnought
SM
list.
did one in Gibraltar. I think they did one where it was specifically a one-off. Like, it was, they even stated it was like a one-off, like, we're going to try doing one competitive event.
Okay.
So that's the only one. Well, Warhammer World otherwise, because again, they're only ever going to do competitive stuff in Warhammer World anyway.
Again, every narrative game I ever witnessed or heard of is picking a singular event during the Horus Heresy, like the attack on Estevan or whatever, and is then hitting that as the thematic lead. I know that the Games Master comes in. So I know, for example, you could have too many dreadnoughts in last edition, and everybody was like, that's a bit bronky. But because it was a narrative game, because everybody played for fun and not competitive reasons, there's a house rule on it, and the house rules worked. And this is the thing now, right? You'd have the Games Master from an narrative event will change rules or lighten it or cap things like no Primarchs today, guys, because it makes sense for the narrative of the story. So, but what we're looking at here is you've taken all the customization out, which is backed by narrative. So when you're playing something narrative, you're creating these cool, iconic characters. Like one of the most things I've always fucking enjoyed in Warhammer is Necromunda. Why? Even Blood Bowl, because I get these unique little bastard characters who earn experience over time, and they become these guys that you can get back and customize with loads of gear from massive trade row, and you feel like you're playing a mini version of an RPG. So when you look at things like the original 30k, I'm going to say the last edition, it had all that customization, so it allowed you to use your imagination, get your proper war dials on the go, and get like really inspired to build and paint. And then what you seem to do here is just take away the fucking joy, strip it back, try and turn it into what looks like competitive. Because when you look at these data sheets, guys, they are 10th edition data sheets. If you compare, like if you get up both editions and you compare, was it the Praetor Champion, what's the main guy?
Praetor.
Just a Praetor.
Just a Praetor. You compare the two, it's like one's got a list as big of options and the other's like this.
There's 3 more pips of numbers on the stat block for the cool, willpower, intelligence, and then that's it.
The vast majority of units are the same across the board.
Yeah.
Except for like the odd character.
Yeah, like the chaplain who can't take basically anything anymore, he's now cool 10.
So in 2nd edition, if you built a champion with anything other than a Paragon Blade, you should outlook. If you built basically any character with a jump pack or converted, so again, I didn't do this, but some guys might have gone, right, I want a chaplain on a bike,
right,
like a jet bike.
As you do.
And I want to give him a Crozius, and I also want to give him this funky weapon, and I'm going to do this, Yep. Again, chaplains can't do anything now, can't take any jump packs, bikes. He literally just has a Crozius, there is no weapon.
Well, he just has leadership 10, that's it, he doesn't even have an ability, does he? He doesn't buff anything, he doesn't add anything, doesn't have no listen use or
he's just
cool.
cool.
Right, he has no...
Yeah, not even leadership 10.
He's leadership 9, but he's cool 10.
He's got a cool 10.
But cool is used for things like pinning and I think suppressing.
Yeah, okay, but that's it though, that's all he is, he's just a character with a
he can take a weapon from the Legion pistols list.
So, plasma pistol, I think maybe Architect pistol might be there.
Legion pistol, plasma pistol, hand flame, a Volkite dispenser. That's all.
Yeah. All 5 points as well. So it's like. The hand flame.
So whatever one's the best one is probably what you're
going to be best.
There's not much choice.
But this is what I mean, right? This is the problem with 10th edition, right? They go, here's the options, right? So in 10th edition, they took a lot of the customization out, and they go, right. So you look at Noise Marines, right? And you go, right. These guys can have two blasters. You're like, all right, I'll take 2 blasters. Oh, I'm never not going to take the best in slot. And because you took the points away from it, when you make the points so low, it doesn't matter anymore. And what they're doing is stripping that back to make it seem like, again, more of a competitive...
If you want a narrative game, you give everyone far too many options, right? And then obviously the weak options will fall down, the best options will rise to the top. And then if you're making a game like what first and second where it's a game that is massive,
right?
And whenever it comes to events, if like what often happened, again, SM like started a lot of these and then it spread out. So there was a rule where for every 1,000 points, people take 1 dread. It was like generally accepted rules to be like, okay, I'll balance out. Like, no one has an issue with that because everyone was like, dreadnoughts are a bit strong. No one was calling for dreadnoughts to be removed from the game or no. It was just, okay, well, everyone just generally goes, well, okay, there's an easy fix.
This is when we get that.
You can remove stuff easily and you can limit stuff easily.
Of course.
However, when you don't have the option in the first place, you're left with only taking good stuff.
Exactly.
And that's the issue you've got with when you've got a unit that has no options except for taking this pistol.
I remember being a kid, I remember it was 2nd edition, and I think it was the Dark Millennial edition, whatever that was, where there's a whole psychic phase would take like over an hour. And my mate's always being an Avatar of Cain. When he brought the Avatar of Cain, you were rumbled, alright? It was so imbalanced, it was crazy. monstrous creature. This thing, the addition and 10th edition is a pale reflection of what it was in second Ed Dark Millennium. This thing would just destroy armies. And of course we played 2 games to get annoyed, but then he was just like, oh, do you know what? I'll stop playing with that because we need to balance and have fun. But when I did play against it, I knew what I was in for. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's because Games Workshop's gone in this way of trying to balance the game. And if I remember slightly, I'm not supposed to quote me on this, but doesn't Games Workshop say that it's a model company first and the game company second? Then why do you keep doing this then?
It's an IP company.
Well, it is now.
That's what it is.
Right.
It was a model company first, then it became a publishing company,
Yeah.
and now it's an IP company.
Right.
Yeah, but again, it's one of those ones where if you were to come into the game today, you wouldn't see a lot of the issues that a lot of people are having. Like if you day one, you've never heard of anything to do with GW, you've never heard. You literally day one, and you're like, oh, what's Warhammer? If you were to start this, for the most part, you'd be fine. Like the logic of like all these weapons going and everything like that. It's kind of like this whole game is kind of like where like the GW and Warhammer diehards end up naturally. You get into the pipeline and you go, oh, what's 40k, what's Kill Team, that kind of thing, where you've got your gateway games that they do. And then eventually, if you become a grognard enough, which is just, let's be honest, the vast majority of people who play Heresy, you end up at a point where you want what Heresy 1 and 2 were giving you. Like all the depth, all the stuff that's always existed, so you can play it, and all of the things, like the best hits of Warhammer through the years.
Do what's funny, right?
This is kind of going the exact opposite way, and you're actively punishing all of those people that you've stuck with you to this point, because their armies are just invalidated.
Okay. So as a stockist, right, one of my stockists turned around on the phone once, and he basically implied that trad players, old school players, were not the new market anymore. They implied he was trying to get the new players, and these boxes for new players. Now I'm telling you now, when you look at the Horus Heresy latest release, it's £195 RRP with 10% discount, which makes people do because GW put their stockist prices up, which you don't all know, twice in fact. Obviously you take 10%, probably off like 177, something like whatever it is. Right, now no new starter is going to go and buy £200 kit. Right, this is for the die-hard fans. Now also, I think from a stockist point of view, from a playing point of view, the newbies go to 40k. They don't go to 30k. 30k, as Joe said, is for the old school players once they were Pacific Rules set on 7th edition onwards, and just wanted to pay soldiers upon soldiers with no fucking shit in between, right? And it's really mad how Games Workshop keep pushing this. Now I think, like as you mentioned, Kill Team's an amazing game. I don't know what they've done such a good job with that game. If you want to get someone into 40k and they want really cheap, it's Kill Team. You start for £66 or you get a team for 20 quid and you're off, and that's it. You don't need a whole army. But what we also have here is 30k is seasoned players been playing for 30, 40 years of life, 20 years, like we're all their life. And as I said, they've customised and built all this, and you're basically telling them that a large proportion to £1,000 worth of models is now written off the shelf, and they don't care because they made it simpler for new players. Because one of my arguments with this is I look at this and I go, it's fucking simplified. It's like every IP at the moment, whether it's Marvel, Star Wars, anything you name it, fucking Doctor Who, Bond, whatever, they try to change everything to appeal to so-called the mass, right? And in a sense, they take it down. So what this says to me is GW and these people think that the general masses of people are done, because I think this is light work for people's things. It's a short attention span, quicker to make an army, quicker to play the rules, it's more simpler. I feel like it's written by, no offense, Gen Z. It's like yeah, I know, but the game's written for Gen Z. It's got a short attention span.
It's not as simple though, because you've now got 3 more additional statistics to work on.
Right.
You've now got, what was it, steps 1 through 11 of rolling, of going to shoot something.
Huh.
11 steps.
You have strike pools and firing pools where you split out all the dice and everything at different steps, and
yeah, it's like, what?
It's basically
so it simplifies the data sheets to really basic bitch data sheets, but then it's made additional rules out of its arse.
It was written by a lawyer, sold by lawyers. That's the way it comes across.
Well, Alex highlighted to me the other day in work, but basically it's 1 round less in sense, it's 4 rounds instead of 5, and it seems like the 5th round's been thrown completely into the challenges and the extra steps in shooting, and so it's like
1 through 30 of challenges.
Did anybody actually complain about the bloody rules of Horus Heresy? I've never seen a real complaint online.
One of the absolute biggest issues with 3rd edition Heresy is the fact that no one asked for it. Like, that's the issue. If you look at every single person who plays 10k, after 2 years into the edition, everyone's screaming for a new edition because it's so unbalanced.
So who are they making it for?
Are
they making it for Gen Z?
Obviously, there's exceptions.
Are they trying to make a new market? What's this for?
Everyone kids out of primary school.
Right, okay, so...
But no kids at primary school can afford
a £195 box set? FOMO box?
They can pay their parents too.
True, but, like, it's just not a thing.
It's frustrating because... Like, just to highlight the new box, right? I mean, I think the models in that box are actually fantastic. Like, I can't deny it. Whether you like Saturn Iron or not, they're just fucking cool. The Dreadnought's looking cool, the R2's looking cool, the models, all of it looks fucking amazing. And then suddenly they do this book, just goes, yeah, so here's all these beautiful models, and rust slap! You know what I mean?
So my opinion is legitimately, like, seeing everything online for the past few weeks, my opinion is...
So the biggest problem online is
literally right. The rule book, I personally I can see giving it like a score like 8 out of 10. I haven't played the game yet. I've just read through pretty much all of it. I can't say in terms of gameplay. That's why when I play it, it's probably going to drop a bit or go up a bit depending on what it looks. But from just overview looking at it, it looks like it could be good, right?
Right.
Everyone's issues seems to be like. I think most people could forgive issues with the core rules so long as the game plays well, right? The issue is the levers and the fact that, let's be honest, right? 40k has combat patrol and has ways in. You could go kill team. That kill team unit is playable in 40k.
Yeah, right? It is.
So you buy a combat patrol, buy kill team, then go combat patrol. Oh, now I can play 40k. But
and you got combat patrol versions are pretty alright.
There is no slow growing to Heresy.
Yeah. Of course no. It's a hard. It's like the old school hardcore. It's hardcore fan in my head.
One of the biggest things though, when they released 2nd edition, if you remember, was before 10th.
Yeah.
So all these people who had 40k armies also were full of heresy units that at that time were legal.
Yeah.
Because when the Kratos was released, they even made a massive hoopla about it being legal in 40k.
Okay.
Here's a PDF for both for Chaos Space Marines and Space Marines. Like they had the options to take it in both, and then the Chaos Space one also said can be taken in Death Guard, Thousand Suns, and World Eaters, but no one cared.
So at the beginning of Heresy 2, you had a ton of people who played 40k and just so happened to also overnight. It's just been marketed really well because Heresy 1 went for a long time and went under the radar for most people. Heresy
over a decade.
Yeah, Heresy 2 came out and a lot of 40k players were like, I'm not a big fan of where 40k is right now, and I've got this massive army that's playable. And Heresy awesome, or it just went alongside.
Yeah, it just pops into the
that doesn't exist this time around because that all got cancelled when 10th came out, and everyone who was only a 40k player and had no interest in Heresy at the time basically got rid of all their Heresy stuff, right? Yeah. So you're not even going to have that initial influx of people going who have got models to just try it. It's very much like nothing is compatible across anything anymore, and the buy-in for Heresy is considerably higher than 40k.
Yeah.
40k you could buy a combat patrol and you could play tomorrow, and it's broadly the same.
Which is what it says. Like, this is
even if you buy a whole Saturn Iron box, you can play with it, but you can't play.
But this is what I said before, isn't it? It said anybody who's new to the world of Warhammer is aiming at 40k, right? We know AOS dropped off a cliff. One thing to quickly highlight, if you look at the old world, right? So you got one old world, and they've rebrought it back, they've reinserted the war world.
Get ready for 3rd edition, by the way.
But the reason,
second edition old world.
But the reason being is because they realise there's a whole bunch of people who give up and never bought any AOS, right? They just completely dropped off. So the AOS crowd was a brand new crowd, argumentatively.
It still sells. And it still sells.
But hear me out. I realised that I knew a lot of my friends, like even Tim and Louis around here and Charles, and 3D printed their old world armies because they like to play the old world game. They're playing it in Brimstitch as an event, and then on Reddit there's loads of threads. So people have carried on playing old world for over the decade it's been cancelled. Yeah. So GW's going, oh my god, we need to take that back off the 3D market. We need to capitalise on that and produce the game. So what the thing is with Horus Heresy is I don't understand why they suddenly try to slap it into 40k. They try to put it online with 40k and still say, well, we still got some deep rules, we still got extra stages, we still do challenges, but we're still simplifying it to a degree and making it easy to just play out the box and not have to convert or get best in slot. But then best in slot doesn't matter, and it's competitive. So 40k is like that. As we said, Horus Heresy is not. Yeah. So it's just like, what is the reason for it? You can't You turn around earlier today, and obviously you can correct me because obviously we're being recorded now, but you said it's marketing, it's all bound to money, because it's basically trying to write off 1/3 of someone's army or half their army, meaning they have to go out and spend more money, and that sounds just so deplorable that I wish it wasn't true, but it seems that way.
It's actually worse than that. Like, how it comes across is, it's basically what they're planning on stripping sailing through 3rd edition.
Right.
Because what they've basically done is, unless they categorically sell it now, like going forward, it's not in the rules. It's not down to balancing, because if it existed before, there's no reason why it can't exist now. If it can't exist now, then it's clearly not just the rules update, is it? It's a completely new game. Yeah. So you can't win with that one. Right. It's just a case of like, it's either a new game or you've tweaked the rules, in which case if you've only tweaked the rules, then everything should still be fine, shouldn't it? So that's part one, right? But what they're doing is, it's literally, if it doesn't come in the box, you can't play it. However, the biggest issue that the entire community has is everyone could go, fine, if it's not in the box, you can't take it, right? And I remember going back to 9th, I remember the argument for this, but let me get it out, right? They basically went, if they don't sell it anymore, then what if people who are coming into the game now can't get a hold of it? Well, that's an argument. However, you've also got the fact of, what about the people who've already invested in your game and are already playing it now? What about shitting on them and just taking it away because the new guys can't get it? This is the point. Like, if it's going to be a constant battle between them and you always choose the new people, then all you're going to do is piss off everyone who's already in it.
But it's
diminishing returns, because they're not going to stay when you give it to them again.
Well, wasn't this the idea behind the Legends list in 40k? But I understand why it doesn't work in 40k, because unless you've got narrative players, which don't seem to happen, everybody's competitive, and the Legends are banned from competitive. So if you had these certain mods you only bought for competitive in the past, you're no longer play them because the new rules are too expensive, or they'll be completely removed and put the Legends. But why we put argumentatively, will there be a Legends list for this edition of Horus Heresy? And shouldn't that just be main rules, because Horus Heresy is narrative and not competitive? So really, a Legends list should never exist. So it would just be an additional PDF to fix some rules on certain squad combinations you used to be able to have, but never fixing the Praetor combinations or the character combinations. Would you think that was a halfway, like a errata in that way?
So there will be a Legends PDF, probably for one for each faction, at the very least.
It'd be all the same.
How is there a Legends list for 30k if it's all Legends?
I know,
it's
by
just in my head.
It's
just me right now.
But it'll be for things like the console delegatus. That's no longer in the book. That's no longer a console option. That will probably be in the Legend. We don't know. It's not been dropped yet. It's going to be dropped day 1, maybe day 2 at worst.
Okay.
And it will very likely piss people off.
So there's another massive issue with that, right? Say, for example, you were to take one of the... right, let's have a look, right? So you've got this book, you've got the Legion Consularis, right? So a load of these have been taken out, right?
Right.
So, say, for example, the Chaplain, which is in this book, right? The likelihood of them releasing a Legends PDF that gives you back the exactly same Chaplain, but can take the jump pack. I might be completely wrong, but I highly doubt they're going to print may have jump pack. Because if they do that, that's going to be about 50 pages long. And in which case, it's just why the hell wasn't it in the book in the first place, right? However, you've also got the issue of any of these consoles that aren't in the current book that might come back, right? Bear in mind, again, things like a Herald can no longer have a jump pack. So again, that's a character that I went out and got a Dark Fury jump pack for, fully customised with multiple kits.
Well, he has Raven Guard, right?
Yeah, Raven Guard. Fully customised the jump Herald to be able to jump around with the Dark Furies and stuff. I'm all good. So that, again, they're not going to do a jump pack Herald in that, in which case that is literally doing what 40k does. It's literally every single, like, there's 50 data sheets for Captain it's just not a thing, right?
Okay, so if you look through the different, Legion of Astartes and seen that, is there anything like, for example, in Raven Guard or say in Blood Angel that says, because you're a effing Blood Angel, you can have a jump pack on a Chaplain, or you can have a jump pack on
Raven Guard specifically have this.
So this is what I'm about to say though.
Okay.
The issue is, even if they bring out, say for example, I can't remember which, so Delegatus is not in it now.
Yes, the Delegatus is completely removed.
Completely removed, right. So say you had a Delegatus in second and it had a jump pack, right? So, Delegatus, right, then, so, go to the Raven Guard bit, where you've got the armory of the Raven Guard, right? Yeah. So the way it used to be is, the way it was effectively worded is, if a character or unit has a jump pack, you can pay an extra few points and attach it to anything with a jump pack. So Raven Guard, if you take a jump pack, okay, I'm going to pay some points and make it that. Now it's completely worded differently. So now you can pay 10 points. So the same way as in terms of like paying the points. However, it goes specifically on a Praetor with a jump pack, an Opte with a jump pack, a Centurion with a jump pack, or more attack. So I can't put that cover pattern jump pack on anything other than those 4, and it's literally in the book. So the only way, say they come out with the diacuss in the Legends PDF,
Right.
unless that also states, by the way, Raven Guard can give it a covered pattern jump pack, in which case, why the hell have you done it such a backwards way?
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying? It's just not going to happen.
And
They're not going to write it that way. They're just going to add it and have a very, very plain data sheet like a chaplain.
And hear me out, this still means you have characters you can't use as Raven Guard, right?
100%, yeah. I split out all my models.
The model itself will just look like it fits in for flavour. That's basically it. It'll look like it blends in, which is very apt for Raven Guard.
Yeah, okay, well, let's figure this right. You could go to a narrative event, right? You can tell them, go, hi guys, you know, the latest change of Horus Heresy. Yeah. I have to put these models in if you don't mind, not WYSIWYG, right? Hear me out.
That's absolute heresy.
It's absolute heresy, right?
Get in the bin.
By K, so that's how you felt about narrative. Now we know about in competitive 40k, if you're not effing WYSIWYG, they tell you to F off. They go, oh, that's just put. Not in competitive games.
In competitive games,
I'm talking competitive. I'm not talking about like me and you playing where I go, 5 of my bloody tormentors here.
It depends on the event, really.
Or whatever going to be in practice, right?
It'll depend on the event. If it's the same unit but like different loadouts.
Okay,
like,
let me readdress the question then. If we're at a Games Workshop event, we're at Warhammer Fest.
Be correct about it.
Thank you. Right, so Warhammer Games Workshop itself wants you to be WYSIWYG, right?
Oh yeah.
So my point being is Games Workshop going to start driving for more Horus Heresy events? Do you reckon they're going to start to pop up and try and make it WYSIWYG? Or are we going to be literally, it's not a big deal in the sense that people are going to be bumhurt that the models don't fit, but narrative organisers are going to be more understanding if they want to try a new edition and allow people to proxy more often.
So the funny thing with
There's
Heresy...
only a few weapons, right? Like technically, it's weapons which is a change. So you say like...
Well, right, it's the choices in War Gear as well. Like that have been stripped out. So
they did have a little modules, don't they? So this person's got a fucking blah, 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 blah. That's the thing I like to buy, like comms unit, this, that. Like this is what I loved about the original 2nd and 3rd edition. There was like all these War Gear cards, ridiculous fluff, ridiculous little, like they have 4 different scanners too. Refractor field, deflector field, freaking displacer field. When you got shot, you teleport. Like blah blah blah. Vortex grenades, you know, virus outbreak. Old school me.
I think it was 4th edition where I would take my Black Templars Crusader squad.
Okay.
And back then you could have one guy with a special weapon,
right.
One guy with a heavy weapon, and you know, a bunch of the melee options. But because of how War Gear worked, you could have that one guy with about with a las cannon, plasma gun, 3 bolt guns, 2 bolt pistols, and 12 swords. You can only fire one of those weapons, but you would just protect the hell out of them by using everyone else as just bodies, as ablative wounds.
I remember one of the War Gear cards was just combi weapon, and back then it was literally slapping an actual melter gun to the bottom of your bolter.
Yeah.
And it was like, or plasma melter, you know what I mean?
Right, so you still can, but it has to be in the box. That's the issue.
Yeah.
You've got like 3 or 4 options in the whole book that can. But again, so I had a more Dathan squad, which is all Raven Guard players are going to be well aware of this by now.
Raven Guard snipers.
So they weren't ever just snipers. More Dathan, right? So you go back.
As an example, they are the Raven Guard sniper unit.
See,
they're the sneaky guys basically.
What's annoying is not like Games Workshop's turned around to the community and gone, hey, all of our models, these ones are not going to be usable in the next edition, so we're going to discount them for you. So if you want them for nostalgia reasons,
Games Workshop
I
discount.
know. But the fact as Joe said, like obviously the game's not released for 2 weeks. We're probably getting told off for this, but fuck it, you know, it's leaked. We don't leak it first. So, but point being is, if Games Workshop when it releases this would be helpful to let people know, because you should have these model kits up there where people are buying it. Like I've got someone asking me to 3D print stuff, and I'm sorry, not got it done yet, but I do this want me to 3D print those items because they're no longer usable in the game. So I've now got to check with him because of the new edition.
So I went out of my way, as I'm sure a ton of Ravenguard players did, and went out and converted up a ton of Mordathans. So in the old edition, Mordathans could have. I'll go through the weapon options, right?
All of that.
They can have 5 additional
that's
Mordathans. They can take a power weapon.
Hang on, wait. This is what the list just looks like.
So look at the options section.
Right, and then we just compare it to the overlay. All right,
You can have a Nemesis bolter.
Can we just see
So
that?
you can change the bolter to a shotgun.
Right.
That's it.
From this, customization, and really lovely for autistic people, especially, I tell you what. And then this is bullshit.
Right, but just to show you
There's
why.
many options for the sergeant as well. They had the
I know. So I got a massive
Bugger all now.
for it, you know what I mean?
The thing is, again, a lot of people went out. Because the last edition, it was like, okay, you can have Nemesis bolter, Magni combi weapon, minor combi weapon, power weapon, Charnable saber, Volkite charger, flamer, melter gun, plasma pistol, missile launcher with frag and crack, melter bombs, and artifice bomb, right? Artifice bomb was removed from the game, not really asked about that, right? Melter bombs, again, just taken out, right? But the issue is, all of the people who went out and bought, right, again, all official pieces this, right? Just go out and get normal tacticals, gave them the weapons, and gave them a funky paint scheme, right? For all intents and purposes, Mordathan, give them a shoulder cape, why not? What's gone on here? This is again showing exactly the issue of what we've done with this edition. It's the new Mordathan squad is allowed to be equipped with what comes in the box. It's the what comes in the box edition. So all you people who for the past decade or above, or again, it doesn't even matter up till a few months ago, who were like, oh, I really like this, I love the customization, all the rest of it. You have actively been punished for doing so now. So unless you had the temerity to go, oh, I've got the option to give this a cool gun, I'm going to do it.
I'm going to play devil's advocate then. Do you
punished.
really think Games Workshop has actively done this to punish people and it would only affect old school players?
No, they've done it because they don't care.
I can't go.
They just don't care.
Because they've
Right,
actually made
does it
a thing
show us
for
who the writers of each book is to see if they're the same fucking
No,
writers?
because they don't do that.
They don't show you the writers
They
of
never
the
have.
Of the rule, really?
They haven't done it for God knows how long.
No way.
It would be the team. There's one individual who has been on the articles, who is the head of the department,
I'm glad that commander's not changed.
and he's going to
Change
get
the commander.
fired, hopefully.
Right.
No, there's nothing.
Yeah, because there's multiple people from different departments stick their fucking finger in the pie.
Any resemblance to real people or incidents is purely coincidental.
My ass.
We've
fucking
never
ass.
seen you.
So one thing about this though, what made me impressed when it launched, going to a potential
Fucking
positive.
Inquisitor, Obi-Wan, Sherlock, Clouseau, please and thank you.
As we go back to the beginning, when we tried to say a positive.
Wait, give us a positive. Do you have a positive then? Like,
I have a slight positive, right?
Okay,
So
okay.
the slight positive is, and it's caught me off guard. Obviously, it's not necessarily positive because we're going for these books. Is all the books came out at the same time?
Yeah, that is
Yes.
it. Again, if Warhammer 40k did that, they'd get a hell of a lot more people interested instead of waiting 2.5 years for Codex to come out.
And then, oh no,
yeah.
new edition.
Yeah, like that.
Right.
Like a week
So-
later.
That is something that is good.
Oh, that put me off completely with Votan, right? Votan came out with an elite army, people moaned about it. I was like, fine, just price us up, make us custodians, I'm okay with that.
Nerf the rules because they were very
Right.
strong rules.
Then 10th edition came and they were like weak man's Imperial Guard and it turns into a Horde army and there's the flavours are completely
Worst
gone.
how.
West How. And the curse came right at the end of the edition along with the World Ears. And all of a sudden it's like, that's useless.
Yeah.
Literally within a couple of months, you said you've been waiting all year for this, or all year for even whatever corrections you need at the end, and then you're fucked over straight away. And I just
You've
still
touched
understand.
on something that's even more important for Heresy players here, right?
Also, make them soft back again, like the fucking previous editions,
Heresy
cheaper.
1, about a decade, right?
Yeah.
Heresy 3, we got 3 years into it and they've added it to the cycle. They've added it to the whole chain of games. So now all the people who are like,
That's a good point. It was only 3 years since the last edition, which not a complete.
Yep.
it's now on a 3-year cycle. So every single person buying into Heresy now is fully aware,
40K?
this is only going to be applicable for the next 3 years. And again, I better not convert anything because they're probably
But
going to
this is it, right? So
Heresy, the Old World, Age of Sigmar, 40k. They've said these are on the 3-year cycle now. They're the 4 games. They are the
why do that though? What makes you think that every 3 years you have to rewrite your rules alienate more. It can't just be money because it can't just be fucking money because you're alienating a large proportion. You'll lose money every time. I know players now. No offense, Games Workshop, and I'm a stockist. I need to make money off Games Workshop stock. Right, it costs a lot of bar. I'm trying to sell it. But can I complain at anybody who goes, I'll download a free PDF online? Or I'll use Warscribe or whatever app there might be outside of GTB. I mean, the fact that you have to have a Warhammer Plus account to have access to your codexes on a digital
one, list, like building a list.
Right, which is ridiculous.
You then have to get the code from the back of the book.
Yeah.
Stick it into your My Warhammer account.
Right.
To get access to it through the app.
Well, so my point being is you're going to keep releasing these books, and as we can highlight something in a minute, we'll get to this, and this is another bloody negative technically. It is and it isn't, we have a debate on this one, but my point being, you keep releasing these codexes on 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, there's no new lore in it, you're changing lore potentially for Amazon shows like DVEs and then going back against it, and then maybe going back, but we'll get to another point, but point being is, you keep doing this, no new laws written into it, why do you keep releasing it? Book sales can't, right, book margins are crap, okay? I tell you now, there's no VAT on books as a books, right? The book margins, we sell a codex, we make around £3 or £4, right? So Games Workshop also knows there's no profit in selling these books, it's in profit in selling it to miniatures, right? So all these books is a waste. So what I don't understand is every 3 years, the only thing that changes is books. Now, if we go back to previous editions, what happened when a new miniature is introduced halfway through edition? And I'm going back to the 90s. I mean, it might be a bit different for you guys because I'm 43, but back in the 90s, they'd be like, here's a Necron mini. The first Necron mini is lead, and that's paint fluid cleaner. And it's in this white dwarf it came with is the explanation of how to use the rules.
Yeah.
Here's a new character for, I don't know, Space Wolves, and here's the rules in the White Dwarf to use it, and it was all legal and fun with some war gear cards. Now it's not the case. The team to want to release a new codex to go like the Death Guard. Here's one new mini, right?
Buy codex, buy big army box.
Right, FOMO box, right? So it's okay. I don't have a complaint when you go, here's a Tower release, new army, not Tower, but say Votan, or you go, here's the Emperor's Children FOMO box. That makes perfect sense. You get everything for a good fair price in there. But what I don't understand is these new editions of the game are only to really introduce one model, which again can be re-rated or pro-rated, whatever you want to call it, just introduced into the previous game mechanic. And it's like, what I'm trying to say here is with Heresy, do you believe a lot of people might try this new version, but main raters are going to be like, do you know what, until they fix it, in quotes, they just play the old version?
No, because...
Why wouldn't they play the old version?
Because
why would they stay up to date?
Well, my experience from... I think that will happen. I think a lot of people are going to still play 2. Like, a hell of a lot more people than you think are probably going to be like, I flat out don't like 3rd. I think a lot of what's going to happen, though, is what happened with a lot of players moving from 9th to 10th.
Okay.
There's going to be a lot of players like me who have been in the hobby for years, who, like, I love Warhammer. Like, my Tyranid collection is obscene. Right?
Yes.
It's fucking obscene. Yeah. But I literally, like, I saw 10th, and I was, people will tell you, I was legitimately excited. I was one of the ones
was a negative.
I was one of the ones who went to Warhammer Fest, right? I was balls deep in 9th, we were doing events and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
I went to Warhammer Fest. I was one of the mugs who queued up and all the rest of it.
I got to see the game without queuing up.
Yeah.
Got especially invite by person.
And then got to a few, like, as the things were getting released, like, again, almost week for week in terms of time frame, all the stuff started getting leaked, and everyone was like, okay, even because if you remember, just think back a few years, there were literally events runners all around the world saying, I'm literally not running these rules. Like, if you remember rightly, like, what the fuck is Eldar about? There were literally people. The game was so broken that people were like, I am actively. I don't want to play.
Yeah.
But the issue is with this time, it's a different kind of player. Like, balance and stuff was a more bigger deal in 10th, because if you release an army that's so broken than everything else, and people are really balls into the tournament team, which by the way, modern 40k is completely based around what was once the ITC in 8th edition. 9th edition, Warhammer took on the ITC and turned it into a core part of the game, so it's actually from the ground up based to be competitive. And 10th, they basically ran with it, where the entire game is now completely ran around competitive. It started in 8th with the ITC scene.
Right.
Ninth, they actively went, we are going to actively copy this. Over 9th edition, it slowly kind of like developed into more competitive scene. And then once 10th hit, they basically took everything they've learned from 9th and went like full competitive. Again, have you ever seen someone play 10th edition non-match play? Probably not.
Well, okay, so that's based the Crusade.
Okay, how many times and how much, and was it worth the hundreds and hundreds of pounds that you put into it?
Crusade, man.
So I've been teaching a few people to like start running Crusade.
Yeah.
Like over the past few weeks. They've actually been enjoying it a lot more than just playing just regular 10th in general, because they're using the Crusade rules at the back.
I've heard good
It's
things.
adding the stuff.
It is a mad thing, actually.
Adding the stuff that got removed in transition from 9th to
But no one
10th.
plays it.
Yeah.
Okay. But finding a consistent group
Wow, there you go.
that wants to run a like mid to long term Crusade game to get consistently get games in.
Yeah.
Like once a week, once every 2 weeks, once a month.
Does that mean Ian Maguire play, right?
It's impossible to find a
Yeah.
group that will last more than maybe 4 months.
And we live right next door to one of the biggest cities in the country, so it's not like we haven't got a big pool of people.
Well, we find people in competitive games all the time. Like Ian Maguire comes at me to test every tournament army build against me. He always comes with a tournament build. Now I love that, and I appreciate you think I'm a good enough player to test these damn things on.
Or he knows you're just a brick wall that you can bounce things off.
Basically, yeah. So it's one of them, but he never has to do narrative now. He's very.
Well, that's what Heresy's
Yeah,
always.
hear me out, right?
That's where you got his fix.
Well, let's talk about Ian, right? Let's talk about Ian. So basically, Ian's like, on the spectrum of social. So he's literally in 40k. He's so hardcore match play, but then it's a completely different beast when he's in 30k. And I remember my first introduction to 30k is because of Ian, when he had me have Gilliman and defending everybody, and all of a sudden Horus drops in. Well, no, I didn't have Gilliman to begin with, but Horus drops in. We all shit ourselves, and I got Gilliman later on.
Abaddon drop in with his unit of just Aaron.
Yeah, but eventually I got Horus, which got summoned at the end of it, shit me up, and I got Gilliman. But either way, he gave me he pressed play on his phone and got a speech from Gilliman, and I was just like, oh! I'm not a Gilliman fanboy, honestly.
Yes, he is.
And,
yeah. Shield.
Right, but the point being,
I held my breath.
It was seeing a completely different character. It was almost seeing a more freed version. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And well, I had fun as well.
To force a positive, right? All of this stuff is still possible in this edition. Like, I think the big issue is you've still got going to have all the fan base who love the narrative and who want to play the game how you used to be able to play it. You still are. Like, genuinely, it's like I said, but like at the beginning, like the core rules, people are going to have issues with them. However, it's going to be similar to second, where there's always going to be things that people don't like. And
Just relearning it.
Yeah. Like the core rules, there's going to be issues with the terrain, I can tell, because putting any sort of objective on a terrain piece
makes me feel competitive. It's like competitive terrain.
It's just
things like balancing sheets.
Things like putting objectives in terrain is going to make it dead tricky, because it's going to lead to very gaming moments, right?
Yeah.
The biggest issue is, again, like Warhammer 40k, people did take the odd conversion. However, it was often around the characters, and let's be honest, like your units come with however many weapons you want in it anyway, right?
Yeah, you pretty much get custom.
40k, it's like 30k, you don't get that. Everything from the ground up has always been kit bash, then my guys. Like, again, bear in mind, 40k was always that way until.
Well, for the last 10,000 years, we know this.
So it's more of the hobbyist game.
Yeah,
right?
But
would that be more of a way of pointing across?
Yeah.
Out of all the games, 30k is more of the hobbyist games, and what I mean by that is conversions,
but you
flavour,
can't
and
say
freedom.
that anymore.
But you can't say that anymore.
Like, it's no longer you can go out and get loads of funky things and convert
But
up the guys.
hear me out. So
you can have what
it's being
comes in the
pushed on the
box.
person that GW knows is going to spend a shitload of money in
But
one
not just that,
go
but-
to play the army that will like very likely win.
Okay, but hear me out. One thing we've highlighted here is that I remember when I was young and I went to Golden Demon Awards. It was called, and it was not.
1960s?
Wasn't called Warhammer Fest. It was the Golden Demon Awards anyway. So when you go there, you were able to kit bash up to 40% of the model with anything else you wanted.
Yes.
Anything you wanted. I could take this and cut 40% of them off and give them spire legs, whatever I want from any mini range on the planet. Now you can't. You've got to use GW's only pieces, and that is anti-hobbyist.
And prior to 10th edition, a lot of events that weren't specifically at Warhammer World said, yeah, at least 80% of it must be GW parts. You can use like third party or 3D printed parts before like at that point. But then when GW went,
Again, like,
we want ITC, we went, yeah, so everything has to be first party. If you have a third party build, fuck off.
Yeah. But that's the whole issue with this though. Like, you're dealing with a completely different type of play that you do in 40k.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Like
the
when
person
it
wants to
comes-
actually have fun.
Yeah,
That's what those
you
kind
want to be able to be creative and do crazy things. Again,
That's what
Oh,
this is
you
the
won't- right,
Eldari
again-
rules or Xeno rules, because it did exist, guys, in the 30k, by the way.
and again, things where again
Same time.
when you get to a load of narrative players and you say, right now, all of these crazy miniatures that you've built over the past years, we sold them to you. You bought them, but now we're just gonna mothball them. It's also the fact that there is a significant amount of flavour for the narrative players that has been taken out. So again, if you're like me, who went out and built a Raven Guard champion with a jump pack, it doesn't exist, and there's nothing really you can proxy it as, because I've already got a Praetor with lightning claws, with again a crazy converted jump pack. So it's like I've got a model there that I can't use. Do you know what I mean? It's
It
just
make you
flat
spend
out.
more money as well.
When this is the issue.
Well, is this also a funny thing quickly as well? It's
Okay.
like you've got a model you can't use, right? Therefore, you feel like you're being forced to buy a new model, or unlucky Games Workshop, you're 3D printing something because now they're pushing people towards after costs.
Or we go back to what we were saying before, and you do what I did at the beginning of the 10th, which I think a lot of people are going to end up doing, because there's a lot more games out there now. You're going to have a lot of people like me at the beginning of the 10th who went, all right, I'll go do something else. That's the biggest issue. Like if people are passionate about it, all the people online that you're seeing now talking and shouting to the rooftops, the people who are completely passionate, who are going to like fight tooth and nail because they love the game. There's a large amount of people out there who have reached complete apathy, who are just going to walk away, who look at their army and go, it's been utterly fucked. Do you know what I mean? There's a large amount of people that aren't going to be screaming online because they're over it.
See, one of my arguments behind 10th edition was, I mean, people say, oh, it's still not simple modern, but like, it is. It's a much simpler version in 9th edition for one. And my firm belief was, because they get so much attention now in social media, online, Warhammer's on everything we ever go near. I mean, you look at our Instagram, it's completely mental. You've then got IPs being thrown around, and I'm heavily about promoting it by doing the Amazon show. So it's like, at some point, I'm thinking to myself, is Games Workshop just being that typical Hollywood, Gamergate, all that shite, and it's just copying and going, well, we've got to simplify our games in some ways, or mainstream it, line it, make it easy and accessible, not make people worry about converting for the best in the slot, and just trying to make it all nice and simple, and we're going to keep it all at a certain IQ level as well. And I feel like that's a thing as well. I think, what is that? I mean, why are they doing something which really throws away a quarter of the market unless it's just greed? And that's something
I'm telling you,
I don't want to believe in, but
the whole community of Heresy at large would be 10 times more on board with this whole game if they wouldn't have stripped all units out of it. I'm telling you, that's the biggest contention that everyone's got, because that's where a lot of the flavour and the customization was. That was one of the biggest attractions to the game. Like, it's like tangent. Conflict 47's coming out in a couple of months, and I'm converting up a load of random dudes with completely random, like, looks like something like from the 2100s, like futuristic assault rifles, because again, that game, I guarantee you, when it comes out, the whole intention is to like do crazy random shit.
yeah.
Like you've got walkers and mechs and all that kind of stuff, and it's meant to be weird war.
But again,
so
like,
I already know, because they've said that all existing kits are going to be applicable in the game, which Heresy should have done, by the way. They literally came out and said, day one, every single unit that we currently sell for Conflict 47 First Edition is going to be usable and available in K47 too.
Yeah.
So that meant, okay, well, there's this unit called Grenadiers. They've just got funky upgraded guns. All right, I'm going to go buy a load of British Commonwealth guys and stick random crazy looking guns on them, because they can only be one thing anyway. It's Thompson X's, right?
Yeah.
But I'm going to give them crazy assault rifles and make it look cool.
Yeah, because you can.
You can't do that with this.
Yeah, because so this is the other thing, right? The only reason why this whole what you call WYSIWYG and it has to be a specific way and it's locked in is because Games Workshop, now known as Warhammer, why they don't fucking change it to Ham Warmer, want to be competitive. They want to be an esport. That's the only reason this is happening. And it's let me believe that they can bring more attention to it by trying to turn it into a tournament game with some sort of reward scheme from it. I don't understand why they got such a hard on for it. And if you want to leave it that, fine, leave it 40k, leave it AOS, leave everything else out of it.
I think they completely misread their fan base with this one. I really do.
Again, you
They
said
misread the room.
you said something. You said no one asked for it.
Yeah.
Right. No one asked for this edition.
At
Like-
best, FAQ or give us an errata like they did with Middle
Fif-
Earth 2nd edition.
15 tweaks would have tidied up second edition from top to bottom. Implement all the rules that the community were doing anyway. Like, just go, right, okay, great, Dreadnought is right, even ignoring points. Say for example, you will leave points as is, right? Okay, Dreadnought 1 per 1,000 points if you're trying to have like a balanced game. But again, if you don't care about balance and you just go full narrative, fine, still do it. At least you've got the option to.
Yeah.
Again, like things like Artifice Worm are probably too strong. If you point it up a bit, then again, or make it so you can't just tank wounds, which I think you still can as well, which is a thing on 2-up saves. It's just, if you would have implemented all the tweaks that people had done anyway, again, the work had been done for you, and you would have basically gone, right, all the units that are still in it are still there, add in the Saturnine, give them new stats and everything like that. Again, I don't think anyone would have a single issue with it right now. I think that one of the biggest things is you've got a massive group of people who are like, oh, my army's just been invalidated massively. And you've also got a massive group of people who are like, we didn't ask for this. The whole pull of Heresy for a lot of the older people who are like going, like, again, veterans like us who are like, we like the old editions, and it's kind of, when 8th hit, it was a complete rewrite of the game. This has still had the same effect on Heresy. And now the old editions that were pulling all that nostalgic kind of stuff from the older editions, like 7.
Which was selling still. We were still selling products in our shop from Heresy.
But that it's been mothballed. Like in this book, it's got a quote. I won't find it now, but it basically said, "Oh, we have done like some slight tweaks, but we think the game's better. However, we recommend any veteran players to read through every single word in this book because let's be honest, it's up." Tell you what, you talk for a minute. Let me find it.
So
Give me 1 second. Yeah, because I must find it, because just so just
To prove the point.
it's at the beginning of the rules. And by the way, we do have to also show this bollocks.
one thing I could
It
ask
was
was, we'll get to that
exactly the
second.
same as it was in the last book.
So
Loyalist book, 2nd.
is this
So
one?
it's a Loyalist Liber from 2nd edition. Loyalist Liber from the new edition. All the law is exactly
pick a
the
page.
same, word for word.
Okay.
Like
Yeah,
literally
wrong.
everything. The only difference is a couple of bits of art here and there. Otherwise, the words
Where's the start?
I got
are
it.
exactly
I'm on
the
it.
same. No
One
changes.
book.
Punctuation
That's
still the
why,
same
yeah.
as well.
I'm on it.
That's the one.
Right, okay. Right,
So first of all,
remember 155 for me. Right, Martin, hold up the page.
so
Spot the difference. It's exactly the fucking same, but that box is white and that one's black.
and it's the same right across the
It's
entire
about 100
section.
pages worth of the
They
book.
change like the space marine images, like for example,
155.
you turn the page over for me, please. Just a
Oh,
bit.
yeah.
So
I know this is the best one.
so this is what
He's
they
got a
do.
white line on his head.
So that's all they do. So they
It's literally a
they
white
threw
line.
this up on Photoshop and then add a little line. So we did something different, and they add a little, took away a little box at the top there. So that's lazy. Now you could argue about, what was your argument, Joe? About the law's done. There's nothing to change. Nothing
Yeah,
to
That was,
learn.
that was me saying that.
So I completely appreciate, right, that all of the law I don't want to change, right? That's kind of the point. If you go back and retroactively change all the law, what the fuck are you doing?
What's the point of all those books?
Yeah, right.
Fucking hell,
However,
sexy
you
books.
don't literally write a whole new rule book, because there are people out there, it might be a small amount, but there are people out there who will have bought the 3rd edition rule book for the law. It's literally copy and pasted, literally, word for word, every single paragraph.
Yeah.
Right, designer's note.
Designers know.
A note to veteran Horus Heresy players. At first glance, the following rules appear very similar to the previous edition. Nah. And this is debatable. It is an evolution of that edition, intended to be at once familiar and yet new and challenging, right? Yeah, when you say familiar, yeah, we're using the same models, it's a completely different fucking game, right? Some take the form of entirely new rules, most take there, such as those for challenges and army selection, yeah, while others might be more subtle changes, such as reorganisation of several phases. Subtle? There's 11 fucking shooting phases or whatever the fuck it is.
So there's 11 steps. For
Subtle changes.
11 steps for just the shooting phase.
Subtle.
And you say about challenges as well. The challenges are insane.
Yeah, like there's like hyperbole. There's like 30 different steps for a challenge.
Right.
Again, hyperbole.
It is highly recommended, bear in mind, a note to veteran Horus Heresy players. It is therefore highly recommended that veteran Horus Heresy players read through the entire rules section before playing a battle and never assume that a rule is as they remember it from before, cause it won't be. So yeah, That's them. As far as
So
I can
is
tell,
that where
basically
you're
being,
going, warning?
yeah, we've completely rewritten the game. By the way, you might want to forget everything you know because it's a completely new game.
Do each
like-
Legion have really good Legion rules differential now? Because I feel like they've stripped that back.
So the Legion rules themselves, for a vast majority of the Legions, are either the same or they have been tweaked to be a fair bit better.
Okay.
Unless you are Smurfs or Space Wolves.
Right, fuck me Smurfs.
So all Ultramarines do is you basically get a reaction for free once per turn.
That's bullshit. That's shit.
All you do.
Yeah.
That's just shit.
Well, you are like the book person.
So.
You are boring. So.
Yeah, but our last one we got an extra
Both as a
reaction
Legion
you
and
choose
as a
each
person.
turn.
That's all for the flavour you get. Matt Ward's had his playtime with you. You just get now. That's it.
I don't want to play with you anymore.
Right. Legion Tactica. Once per turn, when declaring a reaction for a unit that only contains models with this special rule, the controlling player may choose to activate the tactical flexibility rule. When they do, modify a reaction point of a cost by 1 to a minimum of 0. So, again, welcome to effectively command points in Heresy.
Yeah, so they've loaded the rules a little bit, don't they? Do you all have reaction rules still? Do you
Yeah.
want over
Yeah,
here?
And you can reuse the reactions this time as well, not once per game.
Yeah. Right, okay. They've added little blurbs on the top of every rule to kind of like
summary.
slightly explain it.
Yeah,
However,
just
some
like
of them are literally exactly the same as the rule below it. It's actually like there are a few.
Like the brief summary of like what actually it does is really nice because it looks, you can just go instead of having to like read through like 3 paragraphs.
You can
look at the bold text and go, oh, so that's what.
Well, there's a
that's cool.
positive. Some rules are set out better.
The bolding of like a summary of the rules, that is really nice because a lot of people like me would go, right, so I need to look for like one particular like phrase in an entire rule, but it's like 3 paragraphs into a 5-paragraph rule. Like, I'd rather just not do that.
The layout of the books again.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
Good.
Layout's fantastic.
to close all down, do you reckon this will affect sales in new edition? Do you reckon the Satellite boxes will stay on the shelves for a while now because people won't have
Well,
the new
that's an
version?
evergreen. It's an evergreen box.
Yeah, it's coming back out in the
But
future anyway.
I mean,
So-
like, Games Workshop, as of yesterday, hadn't sold out.
That's what I mean, yeah.
But then again, they probably have been producing it in en masse for
Oh, of
quite
course,
some time.
yeah.
It's really hard to say because it
Yeah.
is different.
Because
Again,
people are
like-
going to buy it just for the models
Yeah.
and not necessarily for the rules. Because
But so
you
okay.
take
It's weird one, actually, because a lot of people
take
don't
Saturnine,
like the Saturnine.
you
though.
take away
Some
the
people-
damage, you take away the extra numbers on the stat block. Cool, you've now got the same same data sheet you would need for 2nd edition. Job done.
So there is a massive difference between the Saturn edition and the Age of Darkness edition, right? The biggest difference that I think is going to be felt over time is the fact that Age of Darkness was released in a world where every single model that was in Age of Darkness was playable in 40k. No 40k players have any interest in this box.
Yeah.
So whereas you had...
So it's definitely a selective audience, 100%.
So
Yeah.
last time you had loads of people buying it because it's like, oh, that's just a massive land raid on
Yeah,
whatever,
everyone
just
else
a
is
massive
some
bomb.
extra different types of Terminators.
Oh, just loads of OG tactical marines that I can like kit bash with like cool
Yeah.
funky things.
Yeah, make them
Because
40k. Yeah.
Contemptor Dreadnought,
That
Hellbrew.
audience has been completely deleted.
Yeah.
So instantly I can categorically tell you it will sell less. It will.
Yeah.
Just because you've halved your audience because it doesn't apply to any other game other than
Maybe
Heresy.
3rd.
Yeah.
Well then, okay, so you half your audience
Because
potentially.
Liam, for example, with his Emperor's Children.
Right, yeah, it's true. Because he bought the because he bought the 30k. I think it's and he uses it in 40k. He does, yeah, that's fact. So okay, so you're alienating half the market because you can't use it. It's not cross compatible. And then also now the fact is the leak of these rules, right? We've not given any specific rules. You can't really do us here technically for anything technically. And we're only highlighting what's already been mentioned.
Yeah.
Just to highlight that. And now secondly,
It's all out, let's be honest.
it's all out.
Yeah.
Now my point being here
Fuck
is
Pardo, but
yeah, these were leaked before we
Jump the
mentioned
bandwagon,
it.
yeah.
Yeah, right. So if we got leaked before us. So the point being is, and that's going to alienate in the proportion, isn't it? It's already pissed off. I know there's Instagram posts, and you showed someone on Facebook where people just have literally got X's fucking smashing through their armies on the shelf, and they're displeased. So they're just like, am I going to buy these new books? Am I going to buy the Saturnine box?
again, like, so a lad I know, Sam, literally played in a narrative event last year against the Sons of Horus army. Fucking gorgeous army, massive. He's spent fucking ages like converting all the things of how they used to be completely legal. And his post went viral the other day because he basically posted all of his shelves, like, you know, display cabinets.
Is that what you sent me?
Yeah. And literally about a third of his whole army's been deleted. There are people out there who collected specifically destroyed companies.
Like a lot of Death Guard players, because their entire rite of war, they had an entire rite of war, a way of playing, was based around destroyer companies.
Right.
That
And guess what unit is like? The unit is just 9
So did the Legion of Strates or the individual legions lose specific units overall?
Yeah.
Because obviously, like, the Ultras have the
unit
Sheridan Axe guys, what we call them.
No, so
they can't
Get away from me.
Yeah.
so if a unit, if a legion had a specific unit for them,
Right.
they're still in them. They're still in the book. If they were in the Legends PDF in the second edition, they're not in the book because there was never any models for them to begin with.
My Astartes book.
The good one.
The good one.
Right. Yeah. Let me just check something for you because I haven't checked this yet. And you're a Smurf, so.
Yeah, I have a fucking Smurf.
So let me have a look.
And I really enjoyed how the Smurfs worked out. They kept us, we couldn't deep strike, we couldn't have strategic reserves, but our actual ability was sick. So it was like we take our Legion Pacific,
There's the
get
Invictus Caesarians, and then the Praetorian, which
don't use them.
the Invictus, they have no options.
Okay. Say for example, right? You went out.
There's no option to
Might have axes.
No, so, like, they come with that stock. There's no option to change anything on them. It is just what comes in the kit.
So say for example, you went out and did this all legit and legally, right? You went to Forge World and you bought 2 squads of Suzerain.
Mine are legit.
Okay.
Like Lego when they break.
So I'll also say you used. So basically, you used to be able to take Thunderhammers. So say you went out and this is all legit kit. You went out and bought the melee options kit that came with I think 2 Thunderhammers. So say you would have to go buy 3 completely legal, you know, loadout. So you spent like £100.
Right.
Really into the game. You really want to have this cool Suzerain squad with Thunderhammers. Not anymore.
No Thunderhammers allowed.
That's just bullshit.
They've done it with everything. What comes in the box is what you've got, and that's again. If you've gone the entire game and you've never converted it and you've never delved into that part of the hobby, then you're probably a lot untouched, and it never really mattered to you anyway. However, all of those people who have and did, and who really bought into the hobby and really got into the narrative and wanted to kit out their guys, they're the ones who've been shat on. That's why I personally don't think it's just a money thing, because you could have just kept it in.
But the thing is, some units have had options added to them. So you've got the Heretic ones.
I've got the Heretic one.
Bollocks. So
you got
Linnean Terminators for Alpha Legion player, by the way. Yep, I'm a piece of shit. But fuck you, you play Raven Guard.
Yep. The good ones.
Yeah. So Linnean Terminators, they used to have Power Axis base, Volkite charges, and conversion beamer for the ranged weapon, which is for the heavy weapon option. Rather funny. That comes in their kit. That's the only things that come in their kit. Second edition, they've given the option to have a heavy flamer instead of the conversion beamer. Cool. Wasn't necessary. Comes in the Cataphracti kit, which is what their armor is based on. And then you could change out the Power Axe for a Power Fist or Chain Fist. Again, Cataphracti kit, but not in the actual Linnean Terminators.
Yeah, it's weird that. It's weird that how the kit has Power Fists in it. They come with fucking Power Fists, and yeah, when you look at the rules...
That's Tartarus.
Oh, the Tarts, yeah, the Tarts can't have that.
Cataphracti ones are like the more on.
But still, how can you have a box of models like the
But
Tarts?
now, in third, Linnean Terminators have now got options for Lightning Claws, which they didn't previously.
Oh.
I'll pull it up.
Because right, place of bet, no money on it because there's too many. But right, in my opinion, every single thing that's currently in this book is what's going to end up being plastic by the end of this edition. And I'm telling you, the vast majority of what it doesn't get turned into resin by the end of this 3-year edition, which by the way it just is. It's 3 years. Let's be honest. The only change that it might be is it might go to a 4-year to account for the 4 main games. That might be the only
But no, it asks for it to
because the
rotate.
year that one game comes out, over the next 3 years, the next one will come out in that sequence.
Yeah.
So it won't really. So the options have now changed to can change the Volkite Charger to a Combi Bolter, which
So you have
couldn't
some
do
line.
before.
Sure, we didn't.
Any model in this unit may have its power racks exchanged for one of the following: a Power Maul, doesn't come in the kit. Lightning Claw doesn't come in the kit. Power Fist, Chain Fist, and Thunder Hammers don't come into the kit.
That's weird. So why take
because
things
they're
out
a
of the
fixed loadout resin, forge-walled resin kit.
So keep
They're
the sales going.
they're not the plastic kit, which has some of those options.
Which is why I think whatever you're seeing in the books now is all that's going to be left by the end of this edition. And if like a thing that I personally think it's probably Tin Hat Conspiracy, I think this edition got fully written with all of the weapons in. I really do think that like all of the weapons at some point in this edition were in it.
Okay.
And I think someone further up the line, some lawyer twat, went, no, only put the things in the box that come in the box, like on the weapons sheet. So I reckon some pissed off designers added like the shittest day of his career because he's just spent 2 years designing a whole game with all his cool weapons. And I reckon that he went, right, I've got to delete all this shit now. So he went through it, and that's how you're seeing so many weapons listings like the Tartarus Terminators not having Power Fist and Chain Fist.
Which makes no sense to come in the box.
Which is why you're seeing so many data sheets with stuff missing. Because you're not seeing any that have got extra things that don't look like they should have. I reckon it's been gutted.
So someone came in and slapped a hard Johnson all over the face of the original designer and deleted it and changed it. It sounds
that's my
sounds like it sounds like Cyberpunks.
Or someone did a no touch on that one designer and he just got angry and vented in doing this.
Or that went. If I can't have Power Fists, you can't have any Power Fists.
You give me a Power Fisting, I'll give you a Power Fisting.
Yeah.
So
no one gets a Power Fisting now. Yeah.
You Power Fisted me, I'll Power Fist you, so then we can both be Power Fisted.
So why is Games Workshop trying to put Old World and Heresy on a free term turnover just like 40k in AOS? Now it makes sense with AOS and 40k because they're so invested in the competitive scene, but no one's doing the competitive on the rest of them. The also thing is they keep putting their prices up and trying to argue that it's inflation, this, that and the other, but then other model kits, for example, when you look at Warlord Games, they're saying, hey guys, we're trying to make sure that we replace these resin models with plastic kits, and do you know what that's going to do for you guys, the consumer? Make it cheaper for you. Games Workshop isn't doing that. Like, its plastic kits are going up just as much as its resin kits. And resin's cheaper to print. It is. I've got a resin printer.
It's pittance compared to plastic.
So there's
has to cut out though.
There's a thing that I learned recently of why gaming companies should seriously like invest in resin. So you can make plastic sprues
loads are
dirt
right
cheap.
now, aren't they?
You can make plastic sprues dirt cheap. However, it's a lot of cost on the.
Is it called Darkspot? No, Darkspot Games. Mini War Games do some games.
Ravistar.
Thank you.
And the
shout out Mini War Games.
The stuff that they use in it is amazing.
Yeah, print some
Dave,
stuff off it. Yeah.
The material that they use is amazing. Dave picked up what was the equivalent of like a Tech Marine with a Mechadendrite.
Okay.
Picked up by the Mechadendrite, swung it round his head.
Fuck my life, okay.
Put it back down, and it was still exactly the same.
So there's something called Cryocast that Warlord Games are going into, and it's basically a resin plastic blend.
Yes, it's fantastic.
It's just solid.
It is fantastic.
But there's a reason why a games company should invest in resin and plastic, because plastic is what you basically make your mainline stuff in. You can mass produce it loads really quickly. It's not an issue. Like you can print that to the bank and it's cheap.
Right.
The reason why you do resin is if you're doing stuff like characters and one-off models, or like the reason why Warlord can put 5,000 tanks on their website is because it's resin, and whenever they get an order, they just make it. It's as simple as that. It's really easy. If everything is a plastic sprue, you then have to store everything in a massive warehouse, and that's why GW's never in stock, because they just can't produce it quick enough.
Well,
because everything has to be plastic.
But isn't there an argument with GW is just producing too fucking much recently though? Every week it's like, even as a stockist, right? So no offense, GW, they released what are these freaking She Shanty Elves in AOS?
INF.
Oh yeah, so they released a whole INF series, and no offense, we didn't buy a single one in because AOS sales are not going anywhere. It's 40k, 30k was selling by the way it was. Kill teams and stuff like that. So we didn't get any of that in because the releases are too fast, and because they put the price up to the stockist, then after they put the prices up to the consumer, then to the stockist again, kept it the same. It's just really hard for a small stockist to do it. It's why a lot of stockists are now trying to plug things like Warlord Games. It's a lot more cheaper, it's larger margins. The more you buy off Warlord Games, the bigger your margin is. If you spend like $2,000 with them, you get like 47% margin. You don't get that with GW. You get about 30%, 20%. It's
Yeah.
quite the margins are crap. You know what I mean? It's what people do not realise. And
Like a box of 10 guardsmen I get from GW is like 35 to 40 quid depending on when the fucking price rises. Warlord Games, box of say German infantry, is the same price, like 37 quid. But for 30 models, the sculpts may not have aged like extremely well.
6 times the amount.
But it's not just that. Even when you look at say 5 werewolves from the German army and they're made of lead, and they're still like 20 odd quid. It's cheaper. The problem with GW as well, they try to bang you for the singular model crap as well. With like this one model's worth 38 quid, so this squad is 30 quid. You know that stuff rattles my brain a little bit.
The Centurions I bought when you got them in, were like 40-ish quid for 9.
Yeah.
But what I want to do with them in conflict, I'll only need maybe another 20, and that's my entire army done.
I think
they cost
K47
so much. There's no
too, or whatever you want to call
it,
is a big problem for GW because I've seen some of those sculpts, and their sculpts have really accelerated. I hate the way they fucking sit on the bases. I'm not gonna lie, it puts me off a little bit.
The little divots.
Yeah, I fucking hate it. It reminds me of GW stuff from the Dark Ages, and it drives me nuts. Now, one thing I will say about Games Workshop, their sculpts are amazing. They are bringing out some amazing models. I personally think they need to slow it down, and I don't know why they're accelerating so much. Why they become so commercialized to the point that did you see what's it called? Is it Warhammer Underworlds? Where they released that new team. It's a bunch of They are awful. There is no detail on them. They're abysmal, aren't they?
They look like Bowl armor on.
I feel like you've got AI artists.
They look like that they should have been part of a much bigger generic unit.
Something missing with this, and this is my point now. You're producing that much. I mean, I thought Warhammer Underworld's done, right? Yeah, I think that's a game that should be shut down now.
It's got a very niche.
It's super niche, right?
And you have to collect a bunch of different.
Because Warcry is going, right? Warcry is done. Warcry is done as hell. It's a small system that's gone as well.
Warhammer Underworld has 3 tables, and that was years ago, and nothing's happened with it since.
I mean, I like the game, but what all else did with that game is to try to make it competitive, start writing off cards, and that was a big mistake. Just keep it nice and simple.
If you sell something, if you stop selling it, it doesn't mean that you have to forget it existed. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
Like if you sell something to someone and go, "This is what this unit does," it's really cool. Especially in a historical game, you can't just retroactively go into a historical and say the Sherman tank never existed because we don't sell it.
Comparison.
It's like behave like the Sherman tank.
I mean, you did a comparison where you said, "Well, it's like game." Like the
Stop killing games.
Stop killing games. Yeah. So like I buy into a game. Like for example, World of Warcraft, right? I had a server, I put 10 years into it. All of a sudden you shut down my server, delete my character, and I don't check my emails from 10 years ago in a specific email account. You took away over 200 hours of my gameplay, or I bought a game, took the server down. What happens to my money? Do I get refunded for the money or time invested in it? You've taken that away from me. If I bought it, I should be able to continue to use it indefinitely, right? This is one of the problems with the Switch 2.
Otherwise, do you actually own it?
Right, look at the Switch 2. You got Switch 2 came out. Big Switch says this cartridge here, it's just a code. So now I can't lend you Mario Kart. And do you know what the best thing about gaming is being able to lend games because not everyone can afford the 60, 80k price hike. So what we're going to do now is turn to Warhammer fans go, well, half your army's not worth anything. Well, army's wasted, and you're going to have to try and beg, borrow, and steal off your mates to try and play a game because you can't afford to pay 500 quid again.
And then Nintendo just brick your system on the mere whim.
Well, that's that too. So the fact is, this corporate greed from all our news, whether it's Hollywood or whatever, it's just so embedded.
It's not from everywhere though. That's the thing. Like a lot of these industries are very, very based around like nerdy shit.
Yeah, because that's what I mean. It's turned on the nerdy IP.
It's predatory. It's been predatory for God knows how long. It's just people just now.
I'd make a joke here. I argue that Big Bang Theory was the first predatory move against my kind because I fucking hate that show. I don't think it's funny in any shape or form. And normies turn around and be like, "Oh, you guys like this?" I'm like, "Do you know what? They're in front to us. What they do me?" And then you capitalise on that, and then it grew from that because people are like, "Well, they play D&D. They did this." Forget Stranger Things. It was that show. You know what I mean?
This is the curse of all nerds. May you live long enough to see your favourite hobby become mainstream.
Yeah, this is the problem, right? This is what we're arguing here.
Curse.
Is Horus Heresy's changed because it's trying to make it mainstream? And my argument is yes. Because there's some changes here. To me, it looks like a dumbed down version. To me, it's more marketable. It means that you don't have to convert it quicker out the box to get better box sales. You know. So, okay, so to end this off, technically, I'm going to ask one question. So first of all, what would you give What do you say to the old Horus Heresy is out of 10? Second edition
Heresy.
out of 10.
I can't fault it.
So what would you give it out of 10?
Solid 8 to
10 out of
9.
10. For me,
So you're 10
I can't name a game that GW has ever made that's better than Heresy Second.
It's got fucking templates, lad. It's got templates.
Yeah.
Right.
So by that logic, I can't.
9, 10.
Obviously, there are some faults with it.
Of course.
So
9.9 then.
yeah, it's far from perfect.
Fuck my life. It's got
But
9 out of 10. Right.
People have house ruled the things that are imperfect.
Without
with
playing this, because we haven't played it yet, and I want to get everybody back here to talk about when we played it, maybe even play out a skirmish game or something. But the point being is, without playing it, what do you feel this is out of 10?
So
solid 6.
So for me, that's two questions, right? I said this before we put it on, right? For me, there's two answers to it, right? The core book, right, before playing it and having read through it, I'd say like potentially an 8. Like you could potentially, if you were to pick up this game today and you've got no prior knowledge of it and you want a dead, crispy, deep like book to basically play a massive war game and get into with a couple of mates, it'd be fine, right? In terms of the Libers and being someone who existed before this edition, it's too much of a slap in the face to them for it to be anything other than like a 5 or 6.
Yeah.
Because you're asking your entire fan base who are going to be losing models,
Existing
who know what flavour's been stripped out of it, who know what it was, and go, well, okay, like that is objective.
And you what Star Wars was. And you what Star Trek was. And you what Marvel
with the
was.
journals, having stuff introduced later on, it being sold back to them as what is basically DLC.
So, my opinion, the rule book could be great. The thing that's utterly killing it for the vast majority of the fan base out there, who again, if you completely focus on people who are new coming into the game, you can only do that so many times. And if you end up doing a bad edition one day, you only ever one day away from like complete everyone leaving.
You get a reputation.
Do you know what I mean? So like, for me, core rules could be as good as an 8. There's definitely things in there I don't like, so I can't exactly say it's like perfect, but again, I might end up liking them. The levers are where the game collapses for me, because it's, again, I'm a solar player, got a ton of solar, and I literally, the entire book is literally just what comes in the box.
So with these two books though, you say this originally is a 9 out of 10 and 9 out of 10 in both accounts, right? Both of these books?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right,
Really, yeah.
And the problem is now we're saying a potential 8, fuck knows.
Could be great.
It sounds like you're saying you don't have a number.
Awful.
Are we not, you get a 4 or 5, or you just don't fucking know?
So, well, again, main rules, could be a 5, could be an 8. Right?
Okay,
could be a 3.
Yeah.
Right? These books, the levers automatically drop it at least 3.
Isn't it mad how they drop all the books together and you're yay, and they drop the rules and you're fuck?
It's because the amount of stuff taken out. I'm telling you, right, release these books
They save money on ink.
and add literally legitimately add 20 pages and just put the stuff back in you took out. I'd say the same number as the rulebook.
Okay.
But there was no reason to take it out.
What would you say exactly the
That's
same
it.
thing?
It's just there's
I
no
mean,
reason.
rulebook, I actually really do like a lot of the changes. Blister skill mostly because I have 2 Exodus and I love playing them. Plus you're in your aircraft.
Yep.
My
Fire Raptor will be strafing you every single turn now.
Yeah. I'll still shoot it down, probably.
No, it's not.
Yeah, you probably can't play the fucking Fire Raptor at this point.
No.
But I said, looking at the rules themselves, not having played the game yet, solid 7 to 8. I do like a lot of the changes.
There's some good stuff in it.
Like a lot of the changes to the core rules, are more or less a net positive. The fact that there's basically almost entirely no rerolls.
Yeah,
like
I haven't spotted
game
any.
wide is good. It's because it's just going. Cool, that's it.
There's no reason why they couldn't have kept it in for a couple of things. It's not like they had to completely eradicate it as a core concept. It's just when you have like.
Okay, that's something we didn't mention before, so there's no fucking reroll.
When you've got maybe 7 units to go through and they've all got the same reroll rule, you're going, cool.
Yeah, that's problem with 40k, isn't it?
2 of
rolling these
the
dice
hits.
to get anything done. You're like, bloody hell, it's done.
I think that again the reason they've done that is they've front loaded. There's so much assumed knowledge. Again, Heresy, that's kind of what people like. Like, it's a very big, crunchy book that you're probably going to have to spend best part of a week learning, just so you've got a base knowledge before you put a model on the table. Because if you try and pick this book up and play it on day one, you're going to get so much wrong that the game won't make any sense.
Okay,
but that's a good thing, because that's where we are crunchy war gamers. If you want a game that you can pick up and play day one, go and play Combat Patrol. It's as simple as that.
Or just a kill team.
Yeah.
But again, so this book seems pretty solid, but the biggest contention is this, and it's mainly the main contention is just taking away the customization and deleting 1/3 of everybody's army, in theory, right? That's the biggest issue.
Yeah.
So it's one of them. It's a tough one for me because it's just like I'm trying to work out why they should make these decisions. We talk about monetary value. We talk about trying to make it simpler, cutting down the data sheet so it's quite more punchy, so jump between pages. Even then, we've highlighted that on the Legion, the starting page of each actual Legion, the rules themselves stand out more, making it almost simpler, like they're going for the masses or they're going for certain generational shifts.
The Legion armories have been massively reduced as well.
Yeah.
So, like, Ultramarines in second could take the Legatine Axes as like their own special thing for the characters and stuff and sergeants.
But
also, if they could take I believe it was if they could take a combat shield, they could take the Ultramarine specific Breacher shield, the Praetorian Breacher shield instead.
Well,
we've now just got the axe.
So we got to get this already.
We get the axe.
We get the fact
if the Raven Guard rule was worded a bit like similar to that, where it's like any model with command, champion, sergeant, right? If they did if you did the same wording with the Raven's Talons, then if they do put a character into Legends and go right, okay, well that character could take a lightning core. With that wording, I could take.
But as you said, you're not going to get a chaplain and a librarian, blah blah blah.
Exactly.
This is the weirdest thing.
But that's the unit type.
So to tell you what I'm trying to get at is, it's like this seems very much in line with some sort of competitive play, some sort of simplification of the game. And again, I use the 9 to 10 alone. Right, one of the biggest complaints with 9 was there was too many stratagems. I didn't give a shit. I thought it was amazing, and I'd always selected specific stratagems I always wanted to use, and I memorised this once because I knew the point value in the game. However, in 10th edition, they slimmed it down. They tried to slim down the choices and the rules and make it easier, and that's all I'm seeing here. And I'm just like, I'm so confused when I've done it, and I don't know how it's going to affect the scheme, and obviously we'll know more and more. So goddamn it, I mean, there are going to be more videos on YouTube, there's going to be more people talk about this near close to launch 2 weeks. Obviously, all stockists have been sent this thing weeks in advance, as we can tell, you know what I mean? So to tie it all up, right, is there anything else you would like to say? 1 minute as an outro, Joe, of what you think the state of the game and Warhammer potentially is.
Well, for me, I've played Warhammer for a very long time. Absolutely hate what 40k has become the rule set. I just hate that style of game. It's a strategy game as opposed to a war game. I like a war game.
Yeah, I'm strategy whole, but yeah.
So the reason why I really like Warhammer Heresy is the simple fact that it feels like a war game. It feels like you're moving soldiers around a battlefield and actually trying to do shit on the board as opposed to just trying to score victory points.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? You're actually trying to engage in a war. But yeah. So either way, I'm giving it a go because I love the game, and to be fair, this is probably the last game that is connecting me to GW in any way.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It just is like I've still got Blood Bowl. That's a different thing where like do a league and all the rest of it. But like as far as proper GW game that would require any sort of keeping up with, this is the last one. And again, like if this turns into what 40k is, where it just feels like you're playing a strategy game as opposed to a war game, then I don't know. But I'm gonna give it a go. I've already got the armies. I literally needn't spend a penny after this point anyway.
Yeah.
But I actually want to because I actually like Warhammer.
Yeah.
It's kind of the issue. Like, I don't want to sit there and go, oh, well, if I buy this unit and do anything to it, is it going to get deleted in 3 years?
Yeah, and I love you. Fact, you've got customizing minis and messing around with stuff. You'll see it.
The thing is, right, one thing that we haven't mentioned as well, but there is a precedent for. So, we're aware of what happened with Stormcast and Sigmar, where like a ton of it just got basically deleted.
My Stormcast army in its entirety, please and thank you.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So that is also
the hell is that about?
So that is also a factor when it comes to Heresy because they've just done effectively the first wave of gutting a ton of models.
But is this because
there's absolutely nothing stopping
it's warehouse shots?
Because you argued they struggled to make a new edition because they released so many effing minis at so high speed velocities to try and make this money or corporate chasing, but they're going shit. Try and balance the game now, but we've actually given like these guys 100 units over everybody else. It makes no sense, so we've got to delete a whole bunch. But which is not fair again. It's the same thing.
It's twofold. It's removing rules for things that already exist.
Yeah.
And it's also going, you can only use what's in the box, even if we do currently sell it. So they currently sell Dark Furies, right? This would never happen. But say you went, right, okay, Dark Furies also have the option to have a plasma gun.
Okay.
Right? You sell plasma guns and you also sell Dark Furies.
Yeah.
You've literally stated that as precedent.
I know, and to tie up, that's what we said from the start. That's one of the biggest from the start. So, with that in mind, Joe, who's hanging on by a thread of GW, is going to give this a go and see what happens. But obviously, it's the last game ties him in. Wants to buy miniatures, but this is also a crux where it seems to be like GW keep changing rules so much, but they're pushing away all the old fans and people like Alan who spends £500 a week. These people are going to suddenly disappear, and GW is going to freak out and relying on the modern audience, for which doesn't work. So with yourself, Alex, I mean, obviously you're going to smash this out. You're going to carry on with the GW.
I'm going to give it the
your
college
fated.
try.
Do you think it's going to be data sheet erratas?
Well, I mean, for my Alpha Legion, I basically.
Does it affect you so much this game?
So a lot of the changes don't affect me in the slightest, except for the Tartarus Terminators. Yeah, it has to be. But I play mostly with in second the Headhunter Leviathan, focusing around Headhunter teams, and
so again, if you've used what's in the box, you're fucking solid. It's the the people who want to.
No, you're right.
It's the people who want to be like proper hobbyists and min-max and change things and customize it. They're the people really losing out, right? I think.
Because the Headhunter kit isn't a kit. It's a bunch of torsos, heads, and guns. That's all it is. Because it was meant to be like you'd buy the plastic Mark IV kit from the Betrayal at Calth, and you'd then put the torsos and the heads and the guns on those bodies.
Right.
And so in second, you could swap the combi bolters that they came with for combi weapons for any guns for free.
More Dathan, same thing.
That's gone now.
Yeah,
they are stuck with
I think the biggest, to summarise it up, right, I say this is the end of our Horus Heresy discussion, the biggest issue here isn't the main fucking rules necessarily, it's what they took away, customisation, and basically writing off people's minis and saying a whole bunch of minis online, potentially on the store, that you can't buy. My last point to James' workshop here is that as a stockist, as a person who's seen how it's moved over the time, you're outpricing your players constantly, you're releasing too much, you keep changing the rules to try and apply to a new audience. Forget about your Amazon show. If that flies, it flies, but don't give up on the original fans who made that Amazon show come true. Because the people who are going to watch that are going to be all the fanboys like us. When Horus Heresy novels came out, it's us whispering in the ears of our friends who've never played Warhammer. And I know so many people who've never built a mini or painted a mini or played a game, but they read the goddamn lore. So it's down to the core basis of the original fandom, and when you keep basically shitting on the fandom and taking away the years of work, I mean, not being funny, I paint minis, I'm stupid with it, I take very, very long times. If you suddenly turn around and said, hey man, that 100 hours plus you put into the squad, it's a waste of time now, unless you try and enter a competition, which you don't do.
Yeah.
So
that's what's happened for many people.
And that's what's happening, and this is going to be a big backlash, you know what I mean? And you need to realise what I don't understand why companies from all over the world are turning their backs on original consumers for reason to say
in favour of the tourist.
The tourists or the people don't exist. The people literally don't exist, and we've seen this through
the ones
every
that
IP.
will not the virtue thing, but like they'll rant online, but they've
never follow up.
They've never touched a tape. They don't touch a table.
What is it? They've never touched the IP. They've never gone watch the movie. They've never gone play the game. They've never played the game.
They've never touched table grass.
Basically. Well, anyway, we'll leave it there. I hope people learn a lot about this. It went on quite a while. We repeated ourselves a little bit, but I think we covered a lot of different points. And I imagine what we said here is going to be literally reflected all over the world, and it already has been. From the leaks, which we did not leak anything, we've barely shown anything as well, so don't be coming after us, Games Workshop. And that's it. So I'd say, like, my name's Strazer,
Joe,
and then
Varys,
fucking hell. So when we get, hopefully we'll return, we'll play a couple of games in the future. Ian will probably be on the next one hopefully as well, and he's very critical also, and we'll give probably a different opinion on certain things. So I'd say thank you everybody, and hopefully this doesn't get told off too much. Enjoy.
Dude.
Yeah.
Fare thee well, good chaps.
Bye.